Oh, there it is.
Will to Live.
Yeah. Oh, that went fucking years ago, man. Howdy, and welcome to the 13th Reel podcast, your weekly podcast about films, TV, games, things, stuff, and entertainment, and all that. You've got myself, Ash. We've got Christy and Liam, as usual. How are you doing, lads?
Good, Ash.
This week we had homework to watch Nightcrawler from 2014. Jake Gyllenhaal. Did it go better than Locke for you, Liam? Because you hadn't seen this either.
Yeah, I mean, it started off a little bit slow. I was wondering, where's this going? And then, obviously, when I realised what he wanted to do, I was like,
You'd be thinking, oh, they've done it again.
We stitched him up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I was watching it, it's stuff like I did at uni, like training, obviously journalism stuff.
All right, okay.
Not that, like everything that he was doing. So in terms of like the camera and all that and editing, and I was like, oh, I remember doing this, especially when they were in the TV studio.
Yeah.
Obviously when they were doing the countdowns and stuff, I was like, oh, that was class when I did that at uni. But then when obviously I was watching it, obviously we'll get onto it. I just went, you cunt.
Yeah.
You absolute.
Yeah.
But I could see it coming as well.
The word I kept going to in my head was ghoul. Like him and Rene Russo's character are just absolute fucking ghouls. Like
amazing,
no respect for human life, or it's just all about furthering their career, getting the story, being first. And then you think about it and you're like, that probably happens.
It does,
like, stringers exist. I mean, that was they actually Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed followed a couple of them around to get the experience. But just no empathy whatsoever.
Yeah. To be good at your job in that industry, you can't have empathy because your job is purely to film, and then the people that are buying the footage from you are also purveyors of crime and horror and want to scare the audience, aren't they? So I love the movie. It's one of my favorites. I can watch it whenever. I love everything about it. I think the TLOU character's so he's got so many layers to him where I think they're like people will see him as a monster, which he sort of is, but there's more to it than that. He's a product of late capitalism where he's found a way to make money if you're willing to lower your morals, and he works with people that also have low morals, and he's learned quickly that because people have low morals, he can twist and manipulate them to do what he wants because he's got something they want, and everything in his life is a business transaction. So he learns very quickly how to get good in that industry is to not have morals, but to also manipulate your way to the top using leverage. So everything about the movie I loved. I thought it was great. It's also horrifying because that is what news is. They purvey crime, death to scare us all the time. It's like, do we need to know that 30 people died when a bus came off, a train came off the tracks? Do we need to know that? Is that really that important for us to know that people in another country know that kind of thing? It's purely just so we watch it because we're so attuned to tapping into horror and how bad things are. We're obsessed with death, aren't we, really, and wanting to see it. So I thought that was a really good message, Loved everything about it.
I mean, obviously we haven't even actually mentioned what the film's about. So we are going to go into spoilers. Like I say, it was out in 2014, but if you haven't seen it, it's literally Jake Gyllenhaal discovers that there are people who have police scanners and try and beat the police or beat other reporters at least to bad accidents, violent crimes, and to film it and sell it to the news. It's just sickening, just on every level, because we are part of it. Like you said there, we watch that shit.
Yeah, we consume it.
Yeah, and then you watch that scene with Rene Russo talking in the anchor's ears, saying, "Hit that note again."
Yeah, that's one of the best.
That they're still out there, just hit it again, hit it harder, and you're just thinking, "You fucking horrible witch."
Yeah.
And then later on, they find out it wasn't just a random home invasion; it was a drug deal type thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, well, we'll run that in the afternoon because it messes up our narrative for this story."
Exactly.
It literally didn't suit their agenda at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And again, you just sat there watching it thinking, this shit happened.
Yeah.
Fucking Hugh Edwards sitting there, Welsh bastard, looking all innocent. Trevor McDonald, fucking evil.
I know.
But no, what a film! Like, it's only the second time I'd seen it. I watched it, I think, 2015, and that was the second time last night. And what a film! Just started. Jake Gyllenhaal got absolutely robbed. He got nominated for everything, but Oscars.
What annoys about the movie is not about the movie itself, but its critical reception is that it's a 7.8 on IMDb, and I'm thinking like this movie is well over an 8. Like, it's solid. The characterization is absolutely solid. The resolution perfectly fits the character. The ending of the movie is perfect because he's lost all humanity, and it fit his character. Where you could see where the story was going. You know how he's happy to lose people he believes are expendable because he has no humanity. So everything about the movie made complete sense in my mind in regard to what we saw from the character at the beginning, what he's willing to do to make it. So it really pissed me off that it didn't get that as good a critical reception as it deserved, because I really feel that it's a top tier movie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got an image here. Just look at him.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
There's just
Do you know the coldest moment is? I can tell you, the coldest moment in the movie, right, is when. Oh, this is a big spoiler. This is like near the end of the movie, but it's such a fucking cool shot when Rick gets shot by the guy, and then the guy gets out of the car and just stares Lou down, and Lou is there holding the camera. His face is unmoved, and he's looking at the guy right in his eyes. That is probably one of the coldest shots.
He's willing to die in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely, it's for the shot. And it sums up the whole movie. That one moment. That's the coldest shot I've seen for a long time.
It's just, I watched because as I tend to do, I watched Jeremy Jahns I mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen the review way back when, but I always like to revisit them after I watch the film again. And he opened with. Someone told me Jake Gyllenhaal was in this movie. I didn't see him. I watched the whole film, start to finish. Didn't see Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
I saw this creepy motherfucker, but I didn't see Jake Gyllenhaal. And I just absolutely summed it up for me.
It's a criticism of Tom Cruise in his movies, where you can only see Tom Cruise sometimes. It's like, yes, he's good at what he does, but you just see Tom Cruise. In Nightcrawler, you just forget that you're watching a performance. You just see he's so in tune with his character, and his character is so consistent all the way through, which is down to great writing as well, because they didn't have him change to fit the story, to make the story better. It was everything he did was consistent with his character, the dialogue of his character, his movements, his facial expressions, how sort of dead inside he is based on what he's seeing.
How gaunt he looks.
Exactly.
He lost 20 pounds for the role.
Yeah,
apparently he does that with a lot of his film as well, doesn't he?
He's kind of
so underrated.
Yeah,
I was like looking at some of his other films, like Southpaw. He's good in that. There's The Guilty, Jarhead. I mean, Brokeback Mountain as well. But there's one, I don't know if you've seen End of Watch. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, End of Watch. That's going
get that on the list. Yeah. Like they're all films, and it's just like he just nails it. Absolutely nails it. Yeah.
Totally disappears.
I mean, I know that, again, it's their job to act and obviously portray something, but he actually just is on the button.
He disappears in the role, doesn't he?
Job,
He really does disappear in the role, where you're so compelled watching him because you just know that it's going to get his obsession with this industry just gets deeper and deeper, and how he treats people and talks to people. You know, there's going to be so much more to come as you're watching it. You know, it's going to come to a head because he's so devoid of humanity, even early on, that people are going to start to get frustrated with him. But yet he's so persistent in this industry as well that he'll do anything he can to make it.
Manipulative. That way he just practically skips into the studio after his colleague just got shot in front of his eyes. He just skips
big smiles for everyone,
being friendly to everyone. It must be Friday, I can tell by your tie. You fucking horrible bastard. But we can't continue without mentioning Riz Ahmed as well.
Yeah, I think this was the big role that got him on the map.
Love the way he played that character.
Again, just believable, isn't it? Everything about him is believable. Yeah, desperate.
You can feel his soul being corrupted.
And that's the thing. That was my first introduction to him. I think properly in the movie when that first came out.
Mine was
Four
a series
Lions.
he did, The Night of.
Right.
Who?
Four Lions.
Four Lions.
Oh yeah, Four Lions. Yeah,
As soon as I
yeah.
saw it, I was like, I swear that's it.
Yeah,
Is.
Rick
Yes,
Ahmed.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
God,
Yeah,
great.
he did a series called The Night of, I think, where he got arrested. He got locked up for a crime he didn't commit, and that was fantastic. He was brilliant in that. I think that was the first time I noticed him. But in this, just superb. Them two just bouncing off each other. Like, you could just, that scene where they sat in the car and you can see it almost twig in Jake Gyllenhaal's eyes. It's like, I've got to take this fucker down now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've got a problem here.
When
And he even
says
says
for
it.
his money.
Yeah, because he knows he'd lost his bargaining position, and he's right, he did, because he didn't pay him more when he should have done. That's what that was Lou's failing, is that and he even outright said to Rick, he said, you could have asked for more.
Yeah, exactly. I could have got more.
So you don't tell people that, because then he knows he's got more leverage on you, because he's a valuable employee to you. So then I thought the movie was actually hilarious as well, because without stopping the movie to make a joke like a Marvel movie, they incorporate humor with Lou's lines, because Lou, for most of it, is brutally honest about his intentions. He'll say he's ripping you off based on whatever. Like, I remember when Nina goes to him about he was late giving some videotape for a crime that had happened, and he said, I did it so you'd need it more, and so I could bargain a higher position with price. He outright says to her what he's doing. So that's hilarious. That's funny, because you're listening, like, people don't normally talk like that, but also it's still a serious movie, so it really is funny in times without, like I say, without derailing the movie to make a joke. It's a really good balance.
One bit that made me laugh was when he first sells his video. So he goes, so I've got this clip for you. So they got it in the editing studio. He goes, just fast forward this bit, and he's there in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I was laughing so much.
Yeah,
just like, it's just brilliant, because obviously he's practicing in front of the camera, and he's like, yeah, skip forward to this bit. Keep going. Because
even though that's played for laughs, it's funny because that is played for laughs, but we're seeing Lou beginning. We're seeing him starting out doing this. So you get a little glimpse of him practicing how to do a camera, how to get the shot right. So we learn from that, but it's also hilarious because he's still an amateur. And I remember there's a scene where a reporter's talking to Nina in the headset, and then he shouts back at the TV, and she goes, "They can't hear you."
Yeah,
can't hear you.
And it's like, that's hilarious, but it also shows that he doesn't quite know the industry yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Jeremy John's review as well, because there was something he said. It was about how you mentioned, like, the way he talks. Yeah, and he said it seems like he's somebody who's Googled how to talk to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like read a lot of self-help books. He knows the theory behind it, but he just has no connection. And I think that sums up perfectly. I think it's never outright mentioned that he's a sociopath or that he's autistic or anything like that, but there is definitely something that's off with him, and that allows him to follow this career path, to be devoid of empathy.
And I think
the performance,
I think there's a misconception with his character that he doesn't understand people, and I actually think he does, because he manipulates Nina to get what he wants. He gets a relationship with Nina, he gets in with the company, gets more money, so he knows he does understand people, but he says he doesn't like people. And I sort of get that. What he doesn't like about people is variables. When he says he wants a price for something, he hates people then coming back with him with an offer. And he hates having to explain himself, because he feels he shouldn't need to. He feels his word should be bond, and he can't seem to grasp what humans are like in that regard. But Lou is a very clever guy who uses people's sort of darkest like lack of morals against them to get them what they want, but also he gets what he wants out of it too. Everything is a business transaction. Even having sex with Nina, he treats that as a business transaction, doesn't he? So
totally.
He does understand people more than most. Yeah.
And Bill Paxton as well.
Very good in that. Very good.
Almost unrecognizable.
If
it wasn't for his voice, I'll be like, oh.
They're also, I think they were taking the piss a bit with him being in Titanic, because he's there going with the camera going, "This is the future, bro." And all I could think was him holding the camera in Titanic when he's like filming, because that moment obviously sticks in people's minds with Bill Paxton. But he was great, and that shot of him when he's clearly had his brakes manipulated by Lou to root out the competition. He's there just sort of staring at him with his eyes wide open, and there's that shot from under Lou, and it's like, holy shit, man, this guy is going to go to some dark places.
Yeah, he will do anything to get to be number one.
Yeah, but that's why I thought it is just I know obviously when a lot of it is about death, crime, and people killing, whatever, but it's also a message about capitalism, because it is about how if you want to be top of the market, you have to corner the market and eliminate your competition. So rather than a company swallowing up a smaller company, Lou kills off his competition, or tries to at least, doesn't he? With Bill Paxton's character, he'll eliminate the competition by destroying him as a person physically, and his truck and whatnot.
And then taking his idea and running with it.
Exactly, stealing his idea, running with it, claiming it as his own. And then when he's got an employee that's insubordinate, he has him killed. Effectively, he does something that gets him killed, rather than, because that's how he sees it. So, yeah, there's a sort of a measures behind there of like talking to CEOs and how they've lost their humanity a bit as well, even though they're not the ones necessarily with blood on their hands physically. Actions that they do to employees and their competition can be criminal.
Totally. It reflects on everybody as well. Like from top down, it reflects all the way down to just the casual viewer of the news.
Yeah.
It's how we're all sucked into this system of wanting to see death, destruction, the dark side of humanity.
Yeah.
We want to believe the worst in people, but we also we don't want to believe the worst in people, but we want to see it.
But we love it, yeah. Yeah.
It's such it's horrible.
Yeah.
People are horrible.
Think how desperate we are to see like footage of if there's been a police shooting or something. Everyone's so desperate to see the footage. We become obsessed with it. And if there wasn't that demand there, they wouldn't put this out. So, like I say, we're part of the system too, because we do want to see it, even though we pretend that we're better than that and we're above that, because it's someone else's tragedy that we're enjoying as entertainment. We absolutely love to see it. It's why we watch so many documentaries about serial killers,
true crime,
murders, and true crime stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I saw one on Twitter the other day that Tyree, what's his? I forgot his name.
Ty Nichols.
Nichols, yeah,
that
one. And then I saw another one about a guy he'd apparently shot at the police
with the helicopter.
He did surrender. No, it was inside a store. He was on his knees, he had his hands above his head, and the cops just came and kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But then there was comments underneath saying, why are you showing people this?
Yeah.
Why are you watching it?
Yeah, exactly.
You've come here to watch it, to comment on it. Yes, you're part of the problem. Like I was there, I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm a ghoul.
That's what we all are. Some people have a problem being
horrible.
That. Yeah, but we do. We obsess over it. And yeah, you can say that if they didn't put it out as much, we might turn off it. But also clearly that there's been a message where we've said to them that we want to see this kind of stuff. Keep putting it out to us because we're going to watch it. We're going to talk about it and whatnot. So yeah, the movie definitely gives you a bit of a slap for being so obsessed with it. Because if you think Lou is such a bad person, also look at yourself.
You need to look in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Obviously now we've got social media and everyone's got a fucking camera in their pocket. Their first response now isn't to call for help; it's to film the fucking thing.
That's why the movie is so good, because it's so realistic, isn't it? There's some movies where it's an interesting story, but you don't really believe it. But this is totally believable, not least because these people exist in as an industry, but like you say, because people will get their phone out rather than help people. They want to capture that footage first to get clout on social media. Whereas Lou did it for a job.
We've all watched these videos, so we're all
absolutely
part of the system. So, Liam, better than Locke then, yes? We've steered you right this week.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was a lot better. It was just, I was more, like I said, I want to say gripped on it. I mean, anything is better than Locke so far.
Wow.
That's got to be one of the worst ones I've ever seen.
Jeez.
Wow.
Wow. But the worst film I ever saw was Batman vs Superman. Purely because I had to wait another 3 hours to watch it because I missed the first 5 minutes. I was like, I've waited so long for this.
Not worth it.
Wait another 3 hours. And it wasn't worth it.
No, it was not.
But it's just, yeah, when I was watching, I was like, he's just so messed up in the head. Like there was the crash on the highway where he gets there and he puts the camera up above him. He stood at the tree. He's like, actually, you know what? In his head, he's like, I've got a better idea.
Yeah,
just look better with the body in
dragging. Yeah, it starts dragging the body. I'm like,
it's fantastic.
Oh, fucked.
I know. Yeah.
Even the first one where he moves the pictures on the
fridge,
so you can frame the family and the bullet holes, and you're just like, dude, fingerprints for a start.
Yeah,
I know that's one thing I was very like, what's going on? So like the main one, the drug house or the mansion, whatever you want to call it. Like he goes in, and fair enough, he's recording, so he can't be said, well, I didn't do it. Fair enough, but like you're literally leaving your DNA all over the place.
Yeah.
But the one bit that annoyed me was the fella starts coughing. He could easily have portrayed himself as the hero, put the camera down, like 911. Yeah, I'm at this house. This has happened. There's a guy still here. He would have got even more. Like, do you know what I mean? In terms of credibility, it would have been even better.
Notoriety.
Yeah.
It wasn't a happy one. He doesn't want to be.
No,
the hero.
he's so.
It was all about him.
Tunnel vision on. Yeah,
it was focused on getting the job and getting that frame or whatever it is. There was just no morals for him, was there? But like I said, when the when he's like, he's dead, and his mate comes over, Rick, it's like, I'm gonna wait for this because I know what's gonna happen. It's like, I know, asshole.
That's mad, isn't it? Like he legit lied. Because that's Lou doesn't tell a lot of lies in the movie. I was looking at it, like when he talks to Rick, there's a lot. He'll try and skirt around it, but he won't outright lie. Yeah, he builds that trust up because he's even honest about ripping him off. Yeah. So when he lies to him to get him shot, and then he even talks to him about it at the end, and he says, I couldn't bargain with you, so I had to eliminate you, basically. Yeah. That's just insane. Like, Rick's like, holy shit, this guy has no remorse over what he's done either. He believes it's perfectly fine to do this.
Yeah, because Rick had his moments, didn't he? He was like, I'm not doing this for 30 quid.
Yeah. That's the thing, he was earning 30 quid a night for quite a lot of the movie. And he didn't negotiate until the last minute.
And when he does, he's like, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, he's getting 50 grand for this.
Yeah.
You've got your finger in the entire operation, and you're not looking at how much he's earning to think, right, what would be an ideal percentage for me? He's just more concerned about, I don't know, I think the part of him was like, this is wrong. Yeah. But if I'm getting paid for it, I'll do it.
Exactly. Because he said he'll do anything. He said he'll do absolutely anything.
Just takes over him.
Yeah.
What a movie.
But even there's character development in small bits where obviously he's got a shit car at the start and he can't drive properly yet because he's still figuring it out. But obviously Lou says he'll learn everything online. So then as the movie progresses, he becomes such a good driver that he can beat police to scenes. He can keep up with the police and actually be a safer driver at high speeds than the police. Because even though you might be watching it thinking, oh, this is just another car chase kind of thing, it's actually the movie telling you how good he is at driving because he's done it so much now and how much time he puts into his job to get good at it so he can get there first. He's an incredible driver at high speed under pressure. So that kind of shit I was watching, like, they're telling us here that he has really learned his craft to a T, that he can get to scenes the minute they're reported, he can get there faster than law enforcement can, and weirdly enough, driving safer without damaging his nice car, which is insane, you know.
And it was telling that he got to a mansion in a nice neighborhood quicker than the police.
Yeah.
20 minutes quicker while the crime was still going on.
I know.
Anyway, shall we pick next week's victim?
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that the last two, they've both been creepy choices.
I've got very lucky, yeah. Nightcrawler is obviously one of my top 10 all-time best movies. But
so was Locke.
Yeah.
Even if you did add it at the last minute last week.
Yeah.
Right then, what have we got this week too? What's our homework? Oh, The Raid.
Oh, fantastic.
I think we have all seen this one, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's been such a long time now.
It's always worth revisiting, though.
Happily.
Martial arts.
Absolutely.
Quality. I'm looking forward to that now.
Me too. There's 3 movies now I'm happy to see.
We also need to watch, I don't know if I mentioned it on the pod last week, but definitely after. There is a claymation version with cats that was on. It was a DVD extra. It's on YouTube. I'm going to send it to you. You have to watch that as well. Okay. We will discuss that. I am serious. A claymation version with cats, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's do it.
It's like it's really shoddily done, but like really well done at the same time. Like they're all it's clearly
there's effort
it's
into
Play-Doh.
it.
Yeah, it's just Play-Doh, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for next week. Right, moving on to the weekly Last of Us. I can't go into it a great deal because you two haven't seen it yet, have you?
I'm afraid not.
Well, my God, the emotion this week. It was a big departure from the game in the terms of how certain characters ended up. But there was just one scene transition in it that just floored me. Absolutely floored me. And I don't want to give anything away, but I want you to look out for it. You'll know exactly what I mean when you see it. But the emotion, the gut punch.
Yeah, well, I've already been pre-warned. So one of my mates at work, I asked him, I was like, "Have you been watching the last one?" He was like, "Yeah." "Have you seen it?" I was like, "I've not seen it." He went, "Oh, why?" And I was like, "I know. Sorry, I've other things to do. Like, but I've just not watched it yet." He's like, "You need to watch it, and then we can talk about it." So I am aware that it is. Yeah.
I've seen articles talking about it.
Yeah, this transition comes quite early on, and that one gets you. But then the rest of the story, it just keeps kicking you, like over and over again until you just, by the end of it, you're like, "Fuck, I'm glad it's finished." And like, can we leave that well and truly in the past now?
How many episodes are there going to be? Have they said?
8, I think 8 or 9. I think it's 8.
Actually, I can just quickly check. Well, it's got up to season 5 at the moment here.
Episode 5.
All right, yeah. So it's got 9. March the 12th is the last one to be announced. It's not even been named yet. So
yeah, I think the press have watched 1 to 8. They all got to see the whole bloody thing, bastards. Right, well, we'll move on from The Last of Us before I give stuff away. We also had a big announcement yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. The James Gunn came out and set out the future for DC. Yeah. I'm feeling a lot better about it now.
Well, I think also it's funny how he was with Marvel, because DC are way more in line with how he likes to do movies, because he likes to take things a bit darker, a bit more weird. So Twister. So I think this is a good matching, to be honest.
I mean, his Peacemaker series was absolutely brilliant. Did you just watch it?
No, but obviously I saw the Suicide Squad.
Off the spin-off series with Peacemaker was absolutely class. One of the best opening credit scenes of all time. But yeah, they've set out the roadmap. They're going to use the Flash movie as a reset button, which I think they were going to do anyway. But I think he's managed to get a few changes done to that. We're going to get a new Superman.
Yep, saw that.
And we're going to get a new Batman,
which is called.
Part
Do you know
2?
what it's called? Yeah, Part 2. Oh no, Batman.
The Batman Part 2, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's a separate thing. The Matt Reeves Batman and the Todd Phillips Joker are separate.
Yeah,
I think they're coming under the umbrella of DC elsewhere or something like that.
Right.
But the new Batman film is going to be called The Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
And it's going to focus mostly on Damian Wayne as Robin.
I like it.
Son of Batman and Talia al Ghul.
So that's obviously a police slogan, isn't it? So Robin fits the bill.
So we're going to get an older Batman by the looks of it, which is cool because we've got the young Batman in Matt Reeves' version, so that's fine. Superman's going to be called Superman Legacy, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
So again, probably older. Maybe a completely new take on Superman. I don't know.
It's hard, isn't it, with Superman, because eventually he always becomes OP. So it doesn't always translate to being a good watch when he gets to that point, because there's no challenge left for him. So I do get. People want to see a Superman movie, but I get the challenges of it. It's hard to create proper conflict with someone who can do everything. Yeah.
No word on casting. The only thing he did say was anyone who plays a character in the DC will play it across all mediums. So if there's a TV show, he'll play the same character. In that animation, they'll play the character, and in games as well. So I like that idea.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm most looking forward to is the HBO series Lanterns.
Yeah, they've been teasing that since for a long time. Even I'm trying to think what movie it was that I think it was Batman v Superman. They had that flashback where they had the lanterns in that.
Yeah, they were in there. Yeah, in that flashback scene.
Yeah,
and I think there was another hint in the Snyder cut as well.
Yeah. A message to fans to say we're going to do this, and it's going to be cool.
Now they're going to do a series focused on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
And he said it's going to be like a True Detective style, so it's going to be dead gritty, which is interesting. Definitely interesting. They've kept Viola Davis on as Amanda Waller. She's getting her own, I think he said live action series.
Yeah.
So yeah, plenty to come. We have to wait for a while before we see any new films, I think. But I feel a lot better now. Like when he came in and just started like axing Henry Cavill and everyone, I was like, oh shit, what's he doing?
Well, I kind of get it, because I don't think people that even enjoy Superman, I don't think Henry Cavill is the best thing about it, really. And I don't think he. I don't know how much
the other way. Henry Cavill's the best thing about shitty Superman films.
Yeah, I like Henry Cavill. I just always felt that Superman was just a weird role where it's probably me because I just find Superman a hard character to watch sometimes.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like Henry Cavill was brilliant as Superman, but as you say, Superman himself is
it's not much fun.
Anything.
I think Batman's so multifaceted, isn't he?
Yeah,
Batman character is so interesting.
All about the Batman over here. Yeah. Anyway, let's bring the tone down a little bit, because Alec Baldwin, not looking good for him.
No, involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, formally charged with it now. So he's still maintaining his innocence, calling it a miscarriage of justice. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because he pulled the trigger, but he didn't load the gun.
Yeah,
it's just weird. Like, why is the? I don't know. Obviously, it's supposed to be a prop, but why is it loaded? I don't. I remember when it happened. I was going to work and I was listening to the radio. I was like, "What? He shot someone on the seat." I'm like, "What? I don't understand it." But
do you know? Have you seen what they've said about why he's been charged? Because there's there's an article here that sort of explains it a bit more.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is from BBC. It says, Mr. Baldwin was distracted talking to family members on his mobile phone during training on how to operate the prop gun. Robert Schilling, a special investigator for the District Attorney's Office, wrote in a statement of probable cause filed with the manslaughter charges. If Mr. Baldwin had performed mandatory safety checks with armourer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed and not pointed the gun at Hutchins, the tragedy would not have occurred, Mr. Schilling argued. And he says, this reckless deviation from known standards and practice and protocol directly caused the fatal shooting. Baldwin knew the first rule of gun safety is never point a gun at someone you don't intend on shooting.
But he does intend on shooting it. He's got a prop gun in a movie. He was going to shoot it. So
it's weird. It's so weird. Surely someone's got to look into that a bit more. Like,
it's the gun safety expert's fault. Yes, he should have gone through the safety checks with her, but she should already have done those checks several times before the gun went into his hand. Surely that's how it works. I know
that's what he's going to argue. Yeah.
Because I know there's been a lot of things on the set. Here you go.
Yeah,
it's just weird. But again, why is it loaded? Is there a reason why they've got like a loaded gun?
I think they often do, don't they? In American, they often have. It's not always guns with blanks or whatever. They sometimes have real bullets, don't they, for certain things? I don't think it's out of the ordinary.
Right. Well, I mean, but again, because is the scene shooting someone? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if he's pointing a gun at someone to shoot them, don't put a bullet in it.
don't ever use a live round on
set. Well, when you see, you know, when Keanu Reeves does John Wick, and you see him in training. Yeah, there's ammo in those guns, aren't there? So that's
those are live.
Yeah. So that's what I mean.
They're on a gun range.
Yeah, but obviously when he's
in front of them.
No, but they sort of take these risks quite a lot, don't they? In regard to filming,
but it's not on set, though, surely.
I'm not. That's what I'm not sure about. I don't know. Is it rare to have live weapons on set or not? I don't know.
I think to fire a blank, it has to be a live weapon. So you put a real round in, it's going to fire it. But
Because they're calling it a prop gun, but it's like, why? If there's ammo in there, it's a real gun. Why is it the prop gun is what's throwing me off?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's such a mess. And just to think like that he's going to end up getting charged, or he has been charged, for something that was 95% out of his control. Weird, very weird. So I don't know. Hopefully they unravel the mess, and I don't want to see him get away with it scot-free, because at the end of the day he pulled the trigger, and by all accounts he didn't do everything he should have done. But if he gets sent down for it, I think that's harsh.
Why? No, there's no way he will do it. He'll just get a big fine.
Somebody has to. That gun safety.
That's what I mean. It's weird. Like, it's just like I said. You get given something, you expect everyone's done the checks beforehand, and then you go on to do the job that you're going to do, and someone unfortunately just gets shot. It's just, I don't understand it. It's just so, it's a mess.
It is. It's like the Brandon Lee one. Like, he got shot on the set of The Crow. Took them ages to work out what had happened there and how he ended up getting shot. And the poor bloke who shot them didn't do films for years. And I still don't think he uses guns in films now. Still.
I've got a bit more to this. Sorry, I've been reading on to it. So it says here that a Mr. Hall, Dave Halls, handed the gun to Baldwin and told him it was unloaded. Right? So Baldwin was told it was unloaded. And Mr. Halls has entered a guilty plea to a misdemeanor charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon and will serve 6 months in probation. So that eliminates some responsibility from Baldwin if he was told that. But obviously, if Baldwin has actively pulled the trigger at somebody, he's still culpable, isn't he? Whether he didn't know there was ammo in there or not, he will still take some of the blame. So Absolutely. It will be a bit of half and half.
There is a lot that we said, like, it's still on him to check.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a fair argument if you're holding a prop gun.
But what is it like? It's like the chain of custody when it comes to evidence. It's got to be the same thing for a prop gun, surely. It goes down the line. Several people must check it before it gets into the actor's hand.
It's like something you'd see in a film where someone's getting like just completely mind fucked. Like they're blindfolded, they're gone, right, open your hand, take this, fire it, and then they've edited it to look like they've just shot at someone. It's like, no, I didn't do that.
The Dave Halls guy could actually end up, from reading on, it really does seem that they're kind of, I don't know if they're throwing him under the bus or if he is really culpable, but it says here that a lawyer for Miss Gutierrez Reed blamed Mr. Halls for not letting her know that a real gun was to be used in the moment when the fatal shooting occurred. Hannah asked Halls if they could use a plastic gun for the rehearsal scene, and he said no, wanting a real gun. Hannah asked to be called back into the church if Baldwin was going to use the gun at all, and Halls failed to do that. That's what they're alleging. So there's blame. Clearly, they believe blame is obvious there. So we shall see.
I'm going to keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's bring the tone back up again. And I did end up watching The Threegan last
Good.
week.
How'd you find it?
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I cannot wait for the obviously the R-rated uncut version, but
I
thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's fun, isn't it? It's fun. It goes where
exactly
you want
what
to go.
It is.
Yeah.
Stop breaking any ground. You've seen everything before, pretty much.
It's like a Black Mirror episode stretched into a movie, isn't it? Basically, it's Black Mirror all over, that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
and a bit of Ex Machina as well.
That's on the list, isn't it? Ex Machina.
Yeah, fantastic movie.
You seen it yet, Liam, or not?
He didn't see it, but yeah. So, did you find? I'll ask you. Did you, without spoiling it then for Liam, did you find the sort of beginning to the movie a bit ponderous, where it didn't need to be? It felt like a way too slow and not interesting, considering how it was. You know what needs to happen. So it's like, can you make this a bit better, a bit more believable, a bit better to watch? Because this kind of sucks. It's all fun when Megan's introduced, but up until that point, it's like, I really don't care about this at the moment. I'm not thoroughly enjoying it.
Certain character they could have cut out, and I don't think it would have changed the film.
Yeah.
If they'd cut that out, it would have got to the whole Megan thing a lot quicker.
Exactly.
And you could have had somebody else, just a throwaway line of dialogue, do exactly what that character was there to do.
Yeah.
One line, 2 lines, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I felt the comedian who was playing the CEO, I didn't really like him.
I liked him.
I like him as a comedian. I just felt he was a bit over the top. And I know he probably was meant to be a bit, but it didn't feel, I don't know, I can be a bit pernickety about things like that. I just felt he was a bit over the top, and I didn't believe him as an authority figure.
And that I was going to say, I don't believe him as a boss. I mean, when he has his little hissy fit to bring me
it seemed a bit cringe to watch that.
But as a character, I thought he was amusing anyway. And a light relief. Definitely needed after watching a little android pull someone's ears off.
Having seen it, do you see what I mean about the dancing? How it's actually one of the best moments of the movie when you watch the whole. It
should have been in the trailer.
Agreed. They should have hidden it.
But again, if they had, it would never have been as successful as it was.
True.
Because
you've got to teach so much now, don't you?
Yeah, that dance took off, and that's what made the film gain traction.
Yeah. So, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad.
Yeah, I don't mind Blumhouse when they do things like that. I liked Happy Death Day or something like that.
Yeah.
The one where she just keeps dying and coming back. And there's the second one. Loved them too. They were just so off the wall. It's horror that tries to be serious that I can't get away with.
Yeah.
And I find it predictable and boring, and just like when you just sat there, just right. Well, when's the jump scare coming? Because I can tell by the music and the framing of the shot that something is going to come.
But still, the audience will get terrified by it, and it's like, how have you not seen this coming? You're watching a horror. Yeah. How are you not already primed for this kind of stuff?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Just be ready for it. So that's I don't like horror as a genre because I think it's easy sometimes.
It can be easy and too lazy, and it feels that some directors get an easy ride by just assuming that the audience are going to like horror tropes, and it's like, they do, so they're into it. But if you want to bring in fair weather fans, you need to actually make this compelling and make the motivations realistic.
Yeah, I'll have the film say something.
Yeah.
If Jordan Peele has his films, they say something.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, he's putting out a message there, clearly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
What do you guys think to the Insidiouses then? In terms of horror?
Never watched them because
I've never watched them.
I haven't seen them. No, I haven't seen them.
Aforementioned issues. I just assume it to be one of those.
Oh, I thought they were brilliant. I watched them all in the cinema as well. They're the one film that I've actually paid to watch in the cinema that's a horror.
Okay.
I remember when I watched it. So, my mum never wanted to watch it, and my stepdad was like, "Oh, do you want to go and watch?" I was like, "Yeah, definitely." So me and my stepdad went on a date to watch it at the cinema. But the cinema was packed. Literally, it was one of them where you had to buy a ticket to go. I was like, "What?" That's what I've only ever been to 2 films. There's that and Toy Story 3. And I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, class movie.
Toy Story 3. That wrecked me. That
that was a great one. Have you seen It Follows?
Insidious to go as well, though.
Stick it on the list then.
Yeah, I'll stick it on.
Stick on this.
I'll watch it.
Have you seen It Follows? Because that was like a sort of horror movie that I actually enjoyed.
No.
And it's not a spoiler to say it's about a person, an entity that can take the role of a person who tries to kill the person who's got this disease or whatever. It's like a STD, but they follow this person slowly, so they're always walking. They can only walk; they don't run, and it could be any person, anywhere. So you don't know if that person walking to you is this entity or just your friend talking normally, and then you pass on this disease by having sex with other people. So the concept I thought was great, and the movie I thought was fantastic as well.
I've watched, but I don't think it's that though. So just looking at the picture of it, I'd never seen it an awful well.
I've stuck it on the list.
Yeah, so that's the type of thing I'll watch happily. But when it comes to a slasher, I find it hard to get into because I just don't believe there's certain things have to be in place for a slasher to work. You need stupid main characters, and it winds me up when I see characters go out of their way to put themselves in danger. That always will just throw me off watching certain movies like that.
So in terms of Insidious, so there's been 1, 2, 3. I didn't realize there was another one that's coming out rather this year. So
Insidious is the one with the demon that looks like Darth Maul, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like red and black. I watched it up until that demon came up, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking wild." Wow.
Well,
I'll give it another try.
I'm happy to, if it comes up. I'm happy to watch it.
I've certainly watched worse films more than once. So.
What about Paranormal Activity when they first came out?
Oh, that pissed me off.
Really enjoyed the first one, and then they just got more and more.
It was the same thing.
Yeah, it pissed me off.
Same with the Blair Witch Project. The first time I watched that, I was like, "Whoa, this is cool," and then the second time, I was like, "Whoa, this is fucking shit." And then that Family Guy episode where Brian takes the blind guy to the cinema and he's nothing's happening.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Something about a map.
Yeah.
It's over. A lot of people in the audience got pissed. I was like, there we go. He's nailed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So we've added some horror to the list, which was going to be Andy's domain, but he's never managed to join us. So I'm sure he's going to add some weird shit when he joins us.
Yeah, I know. He said he's got some really out there non-mainstream stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I am going to watch that one. He sent us a link to the other day, the ABCs of Death.
Right.
26 directors, each one doing a segment for different letter of the alphabet. I'll watch that because that's genius. Anyway, bit of gaming talk. Crippy, you might as well just go to sleep for this one, mate. I don't know if you're a Battlefield fan, Liam, are you?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. I mean, I only played Call of Duty because it was free. So,
all right, fair enough. I thought
like
Battleship. Battleship.
Yeah. Play that.
I think I played one Battlefield back when I can't even remember when it was now. I remember I was in college and everyone was buying it, so I got on it, and then I played it for a day and I was like, "Nah, this is shit." So I took it back to the game station and traded it in. Back when you could do that, yeah.
Those were the days. I've always been quite big on Battlefield. Like Battlefield Bad Company was the one that really turned.
It's supposed to be more realistic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. But I think it's gone a different way now. But the latest one, Battlefield 2042, didn't get off to the best start, and they changed quite a lot of things about it that hardcore fans liked. But a new patch came out yesterday that's corrected a lot of the mistakes. So that is going to be my evening. I'm going to go on Battlefield 2042 and see if it's put things right. And then
so when they patch stuff, are they better than Call of Duty when it comes to patches?
Patches actually work.
Yeah.
No, they're just as bad, to be honest. Both as bad as each other. But yeah, Call of Duty patch things and make that game shitter. I remember the original Warzone was never better than when it first released.
No.
Actually, I think it got to season 3. It peaked at season 3, and then it was all downhill from there. When you've got the Terminator and Ghostface running about, he's like, what? That's what Fortnite's for. Like, Fortnite's for getting the fucking crazy skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. I'm just getting sort of disillusioned. Like, we've been playing DMZ a lot lately, and I'm getting a bit disillusioned with it because 2 weeks' time, everything resets. So
I mean, have you ever played Escape from Tarkov?
Yes.
So I've never played it, but I've watched it because when I saw that this DMZ was coming, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be similar to that. And
it's not.
I was going to say apparently it's nothing like it.
Nowhere near.
But that was what they wanted to do anyway.
Obviously, the whole idea of dropping in, getting loot, and getting out without being killed, that's Tarkov, but it's just a completely different game. Tarkov's so slow, deliberate, it's fucking terrifying at times.
It's proper tactical.
Yeah. Gunplay is so much more realistic. Like, you fire a gun, the recoil could just like take you anywhere. You don't know if you've hit, there's no hit markers or anything. You don't know if it's a player or an NPC half the time. Oh man, it's stressful as hell. It's why I bought a PC, to be honest, just to play Tarkov. Ended up buying it and then upgrading it to like the top tier level, like 100 quid it's costing. So.
Better gameplay.
But that's just done a thing. That's just patched and now it keeps crashing. So that's pissing us off.
Graphics card.
No, don't say things like that, man. I can't afford that. What was I going to say about? Yeah, so DMZ resets in 2 weeks. They're getting a new map on it. But
is it?
Everything you've got's gonna go. All your missions and everything. So everything you've worked towards is going to be reset, which is fair dues. But now there's just no incentive to play it for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No. Unless they give you some like big reward for the next season, maybe. But
or achievement, so at least you can know what you've done.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm level 250, which is as high as you can go. So there's no point playing it to level up. Anything that I earn, any guns or any contraband that I earn, is going to be lost. All the missions that I do, if I manage to unlock a second insured slot, that's going to get wiped. Although I think that they said they might keep the insured slots. I can't remember. But yeah, there's just no incentive to play. Like my mate was on the other night, and he was started to do a mission. So I was like, "Oh, we'll go over there. We'll get this mission done for you." He was like, "No, fuck it, I'm not even bothered anymore." Just toys out the pram. I was like, well, I can see where you're coming from. So yeah, Battlefield is where it's at. Go and get Battlefield, Liam.
Nah, it means I have to spend money. Good.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about Warzone and Battle Royale. So Fortnite started with a free game, but since then, the only game I ever buy is Football Manager. It's completely different. It's on my laptop. But I don't buy FIFA, I don't buy Modern Warfare, I don't buy multiplayer, apart from this last one, which I did. But because of, there's no point in me buying £50, £60 game when I'm playing one for free, more than likely.
No, I get you there. Like, I tend to, everything now is just Game Pass. Xbox
And
Game Pass.
well.
You can just try stuff on there for now. So, and there's a good game coming out this month, actually, Atomic Heart. Have you seen that one?
I've not looked at anything on Game Pass since the update.
No, it's coming. I think the 20th of Feb it's coming out, and it looks kind of like BioShock.
Right, okay.
I bloody love BioShock, so I'm looking forward.
You've known it, BioShock, yeah.
You've heard of BioShock?
I've heard of BioShock. I played it, yeah. I played it with my nephew back in the day. I played it, yeah.
Trippy's done some gaming in the past.
Some nice visuals, yeah. I remember that game because of the visuals. That's one thing I always remember. Yeah.
No,
almost like Tron-like looking game kind of thing. A little bit, tiny bit, just of the blue colours.
No. I don't know. Anyway, so we've got the raid to watch this week. Liam, you need to watch Mithrigan, mate.
Yeah, and Last of Us he's got to watch, hasn't he?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
I'm too far behind to catch up now. I can't possibly.
No, I was going to say, I'm only been 3 episodes.
3 hours, man.
I know.
Well, 3 hours.
Just watching Avatar again. You're right.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it's like watching Avatar, but it's good.
But better, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can pause it every hour.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to go and watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever now.
Have you seen it before?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be my first time. Back in the day, I would have gone. I used to go to the cinema for every Marvel movie, but now I don't have a car and I have a severe case of agoraphobia, so I just have to wait for it to come on streaming.
It's not a loss, to be honest, mate. Tell me what you've heard.
I've heard. I think heard from you guys actually that it's not that great. But I wasn't a big fan of the first one, so
same.
I thought that
I don't know what I expected either.
Overhyped.
Yeah.
I was going to watch it last night after Nightcrawler, but I saw it was 2 hours 40 minutes, and I just thought it's 1:30. I'm not committing to that now. And then stayed awake anyway. Might as well.
Nightcrawler gets done in such a short space of time. Gets so much done in regard to setting up the plot, where the story goes, and the resolution. But yeah, Black Panther is long, and it's like it feels like it doesn't need to be long, and it's overblown. And it has its moment where it's meant to be, oh wow, cool, but to me it just falls flat. It's like dangling keys above a baby's head and hoping that that's enough. It just feels like that Marvel do that sometimes, don't they?
They've done it the last few. Doctor Strange was like that as well.
Yeah, that was cool in some parts, but then you're watching it like, does this actually make sense?
Yeah.
Does this character? Yeah, it was. Yeah, like, does this character act like that normally? This seems to be really they've changed this character based on purely make a whole movie out of it, and it didn't feel like it fit. So
they definitely need to get a grip of themselves. I think Marvel, they're losing it a bit. And especially now James Gunn's mapped out the new DC that looks pretty damn
might be some competition.
Finally.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to cover before we go?
No, it's good.
Anything you've watched or anything that's caught your eye?
I mean, the only thing I'm watching at the moment, whilst we're having tea, is Fresh Off the Boat.
Oh, is that funny? I haven't seen that.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, I like some of that. I like Randall Parks is in it, isn't he? I think he's good.
I love Randall Parks.
Yeah, he's funny.
Randall Parks in that episode of The Office is one of the best things.
Yeah, because he tried to audition for that character. So him doing the gym was literally him wanting to.
Same with
a great touch.
Bob Odenkirk as well when he played.
Being Michael Scott. Yeah, fantastic.
That's my favorite gym prank, I think.
Yeah, that is one. Yeah,
it was just.
It's the kiss, isn't it? It's when he kisses her. It's like, oh wow, they're really doing this.
Yeah. Just Dwight's like, what the hell? Hats off to you for not seeing race.
Yeah.
Fresh off the board, I might have to give it a look, but I also need to start watching. Apparently, the US version of The Traitors is quite good.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I might have to give it a go. I'm going to have to prepare myself because I can imagine loud, obnoxious
comparing it as well.
Going to go on me tits, aren't they?
Yeah.
So the only reason watching Fresh Off the Boat is to have something on in an evening because we've watched everything else and we watch The Apprentice every Thursday. So that's the only other thing we look forward to, but you two don't like it, so can't talk about that.
I just watch American Dad on repeat.
I've gone back to Family Guy now.
Yeah, that's what I did. Family Guy. Now I'm on American Dad. I'm not going to do the Cleveland show. I'll go back to The Simpsons after this.
I did The Office, then Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now it's back on Family Guy, and the loop will start again.
Yeah. So that's it. I haven't watched Peep Show in a few months. I'll be back to that too.
Nice little comfort.
Purely in my own echo chamber of comedy. Yeah.
Totally, yeah. I did finish The Good Detective or The Good Cop, on Netflix. I enjoyed that. It left on a cliffhanger, but I don't think we're going to get a second series because IMDb claims that it was done in 2018 and it's only just appeared on Netflix. So
brilliant.
I have a feeling that one's dead in the water.
Yeah.
So I hate it when that happens and you get a series.
You enjoy it. Yeah.
It leaves off for something.
Dave. We talked about Dave last week.
Dave,
Little Dicky.
I didn't even know who Little Dicky was until
Little Dicky,
I had to research after we went.
But I'm sure you've seen his face around because you may not know his name.
I mean, just watch any of his music videos as well.
I watched the trailer for Dave and thought, this is quite funny, but I have no fucking idea who he is.
Yeah.
He's a musician as well. If you listen to any of his music, they are so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like funny musicians like Doc Brown and I love Doc Brown. Actually,
I'm hit and miss. I'm hit and miss with musicians that do that.
Kick him in the balls and run away. Tim Minchin.
Yeah, the piano guy.
Axis of Awesome, the 4-chord song, is one of my go-to YouTube videos.
Yeah,
over and over again.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyway, talking shite now for the sake of talking shite. So we shall go. We'll be back next week. I haven't watched the Raid and the Raid Cat version, which I am going to watch now while I find you the link. I'm excited. Right then, we shall be back next week for more 13th Reel, and we'll also be back on Tuesday night for the Vital podcast if you're into football, so see us there. Links will be in the description. Cheers, boys, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, lads.